Welcome back to the 12th man. Delighted to have the Magic Man, Zach, back on this. He's had a very heavy weekend. It's took him to Wednesday to come around. Um, we're going to ask him a few before we get into the football stuff. We're going to ask him a few questions about he was at a pilot event on Friday night. I want to hear all about it because I haven't got a chance to chat to him. But talking a lot about these protests, what me and Zach think about them, and where we're going at the minute as football. Are we going down a road of being far too political and not concentrate on the football? So glad to have you with us for the next 45 minutes or so.
He's on 350 grand a week, and he's literally doing live streams on Twitter during a game like it's in person.
It's honestly, it's was out there getting 350 grand a week. Not even
So only 1.6 hours for me. Like only the 1 hour week. My opinion is like game every
Just watched the end of that intro there. Emmett was saying Liverpool or United might not be the team to look up to, but Liverpool fans might be looking at United now as a team they're on the up. But Zach, good to have you on. I know you had a very enjoyable weekend. Funny over here that the weather's been, I don't know, I seen the game last night in Manchester, which I know you're not too far from, but the weather over here has been shocking bad. The beer gardens opened over here on Friday, and Friday was just about bearable. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday since has been very, very poor, and even today we had hailstones as well. So, not the best weekend over here to open, but I seen you're at a pilot event on Friday night. So if anyone doesn't know, he was actually at this the first rave back at Liverpool. I seen a video of it. Was it about 6,000 people? Was it?
I think so. I think it was 6,000. 6,000.
What was it like?
Oh, it was brilliant, guy. Hey, it's just great. Like, see, when you were at it, you just knew in. We're nearly out of it now. Like, we're in a straight an hour now. Looking at it won't be long now before we're back to normality. It was definitely brilliant. It was great to be a part of it now, definitely.
I look class. It does feel like a proper throwback. It's been so long since seen something like that happen. And hopefully, I know. Did you have to get a COVID test before or anything like that, or?
We had to get a COVID test. Like the event was on the Friday. We had to get a COVID test on the Thursday. And then you had to go out, and then you went then the Friday. But see, if you were going, there was one on the Saturday night too. If you were going on the Friday and the Saturday night, you had to get a COVID test on Thursday, and then you had to get another one on Friday, so you could go on the Saturday. If you could go to both, I didn't go to both, because I knew one day would kill me.
Did you have to get a test after as well, like after the event?
I think you have to go get the home testing kit. Don't know what I'm doing. I have none of them boys haven't got one yet, so I don't know what I'm doing.
I think it's more for data. So anyone that's picked up COVID at it, we're trying to so it's like a test. It's basically what it's all about. It was the same with the League Cup final and the FA Cup semi-final and the final coming up. But it's been a crazy weekend. Even the weather's crazy. I've never seen it in May. Even that game last night, I didn't actually see it because I was working, but I just seen the highlights and I just seen snow all over the pitch and stuff. There was proper hailstones and stuff, and It's very strange for this time of year. It's just been crazy. But over the weekend, obviously, everyone sort of penciled in over here that Sunday was going to be the big day out. Celtic Rangers, and then United Liverpool, and then maybe home and watch Line of Duty. But I think it was quite a disappointing day overall, especially for people over here. A lot of people I know are Celtic fans, and Celtic got beat badly. The game didn't go ahead between United and Liverpool, and then a lot of people weren't happy with how Line of Duty ended. So it wasn't a great Sunday for some people. But when did you get wind of the sort of the protest happening? And did you think from like the very start when you heard about it that there was a real danger of the game being called off, or did you only realise the scale of it towards kickoff time and you thought, Jesus, there's a good chance this won't go ahead now?
No, I was just sitting there in my bed and someone texted me and says that United match might be called off. It was about 2:00, and then I was like, and then I just remembered then because I watch United standards, and I mind them and saying about the protest on Sunday, but I didn't think anything of it. I thought it would have just been a couple of hundred or a couple of thousand or whatever outside the stadium, just sort of standing with like banners or whatever. I didn't think it was going to be as bad, but what my friend texted me and says this match might be called off today. I says no way, he's serious. Because I love that match, like, and I like my nerves be like. I was really looking forward to it, and then as it's closer we got the kickoff time, man, I knew that it wasn't going to be happening, and I was a wee bit raging because I always look forward to that match, like, always.
Yeah. Stu here saying United fans are like most Premier League fans, entitled glory hunters, no passion, just whining bitches, English prostitute. Like, I'm not sure who that is. He's obviously not very happy. Maybe it isn't like Isaac. We chatting this boy on Friday night or night? No. So, I know who it is. But thanks for your comment there. We're trying to get a bit more PG. But what I was going to say was I was the same as you. According to Mark Goldbridge, now I obviously follow a lot of them big hitters and on Twitter and stuff, and he'd actually put up that there was a planned protest. It wasn't like it was a shock coming out of nowhere, but I think everybody was surprised by the scale of it. But he's just put on a comment there and just reading at the side here. I'm not going to put it up. But he was surprised at the scale of it and how many was going to be there. And then he thinks that the club themselves underestimated. There wasn't a lot of security there and stuff. And obviously police wasn't non-existent until it obviously was too late. And then it all started at the hotel when they barricaded. Basically, that bus wasn't going to get moving anywhere. And like I even said at 2:00 to people, I don't see this going ahead. And as soon as they broke into the stadium and stuff, outside the stadium, and then once they broke in, I knew it was going to be a COVID breach as well. It was going to be very difficult. And just for anyone that sort of thinks, why did they not play the game at night? Players have a very specific routine for games. How long they slept the night before, when they eat that day. And they've only got a little bit of manoeuvre for kickoff time. So I think when they couldn't get the game scheduled for like 6, half 6, an 8:00 kickoff wasn't going to suit the players. And that's when it was cancelled. I was reading that it was going to take over 2 hours to sort of clear go through all the COVID guidelines, make sure the stadium is safe. So again, I know a lot of people think, that's why they're wasting time doing that, but it is just part of they have to do it. It's government guidelines. So Zach, before we get into the protest, you obviously said you're very disappointed that the game didn't go ahead, but do you think in the end it was more of a big blow for Liverpool because the fact they're needing the points more than United, the fact that Man City won the day before, that the league's more or less done. Leicester's probably too far behind United to catch them. All the glamour of the game for you were looking forward to it, but in the grand scheme of things, it was more of a blow to Liverpool. The game didn't go ahead.
I don't know. I just felt like after beating Roma 2-0 Thursday night, like with a convincing result, I was really, really confident going on. So that's why I sort of wanted to go ahead, because I thought it was a great time to get Liverpool as well. So I would have rather just played Liverpool on Sunday and got it over and done with. Like, now, agree with the protest. I do agree with it, but not to a certain extent that it went, obviously. Like.
Yeah. And it all started, as I said, that hotel, and then it filtered through to the stadium and filtered through to the ground. They broke in and stuff, but you seen the Arsenal protest the week before, and it seemed to be done right and stuff, and everyone everyone got together, and there was it was obvious it was happening because I even knew about it before the game from Twitter. The United one I wasn't so aware of, but do you think that as it went on, a lot of people used it sort of as a there wasn't like by the end of it, it wasn't just Man United fans, it was just regular people joining in. There seemed to be, it was from 2:00 on, there seemed to be a lot of drunk people. You know, how they left the stadium and stuff. You know, the mess outside, the mess inside. Do you think that some of the people let, you know, if they are Man United fans, they've let the club down a bit, and if they aren't United fans, then they just used it as a stage. They sort of go on and just join the crowd.
I was like it's like United's a lot more than them fans obviously went to the stadium that day, but I wouldn't really like as you say, it could have been other people from other clubs as well, but I would say the majority of it was United fans. That was the reason for the protest, but I don't agree with like vandalism and all that there. But I wouldn't. I don't take it offensive like if someone's telling me like no time like United fans that there because like I'm not going to be up doing something like that there. Like I'm too old for that there stuff. Like you know what I mean? Like
Tell me this, were you like see the day before? Did you know about the protest or anything like that?
No, I knew about the protest from Monday night. Like I knew it was happening, but I didn't know it was going to be that big. If I had knew it was that big, I would have went up myself.
I was going to say, where were you and all this? It wasn't you swinging on the net, no.
No, if you see the reason I didn't go up there because I watched Goldberg, you know, I was going to take a shout up, but the reason I didn't take a shout up was because I was afraid of missing the match. I was afraid of going the whole way to Manchester and then not being able to watch a match in because if I was up in Manchester, by the time I got back down to Liverpool, no, I wouldn't have been able to watch a match. Do you know what I
mean? Stevie, thanks for watching. Welcome back. You're a very loyal listener. Always watching and always commenting. I was going to say, do you think that some fans, or maybe even all the fans that pulled together, they organised the protest, they set out to make sure the game didn't go ahead? You know, it wasn't just about delaying the kickoff. It was more to make sure it didn't go ahead. They didn't want the game going ahead. Not so much that they were feared of Liverpool or anything like that.
No,
just the fact that they wanted to use it as the biggest game in English football. They show they still the fans hold all the power. We can get this game called off, and there's nothing the owners can do about it.
And plus the reason why like sure we played Roma there on Thursday night. The reason they done it with Liverpool as well, I think anyway, is because like Liverpool were involved in that Super League as well, so they were killing two birds with one stone when the two teams were coming up. They play like. But at the end of the day, too, like it's like for me, it should be all about the owners, which it is. So I don't think they should have been parked outside the hotels and all. Like I don't agree with that there. Like you know what I mean? Like that's all our people, even living in the hotel, probably would have had a nightmare that day. No, like people staying in the hotel. I think they should have just kept that stadium. Like I don't really agree with like going up the lorry like and all. Like I just think they should have just kept it towards the fans only. Like I mean towards the owners and just went to Old Trafford. Because
do you think that Do you think that the fact the protest happened the week before, I'm not trying to justify what happened here, I'm just going to try and be objective about it, the fact that the Arsenal protest happened and you've seen Kroenke come out since with Arsenal and say he's not selling, and you know there's actually an owner looking to buy Arsenal, the boy from Spotify, I think it's Daniel Elke call him. Do you think that forced the initiative? United, they were like, we could stand outside the stadium, do a summer sort of thing, and they'll just brush it off, whereas this has made global news, the fact that they broke into the stadium, the fact that they blocked the hotel. It's this is a much bigger protest. It's made that the Arsenal one didn't really make any massive headlines other than sports news. This was all over Sky News. Sky News were doing coverage. I'm sure it would have been done all over different countries. Do you think they were forced into doing something a bit bigger, and that's maybe with regret that that some fans crossed the line? I think you're always going to get people that will cross the line anyway. But you think that some fans probably, when they thought about it the next day, they lit the fire for maybe thugs around Manchester to join in as well.
No, definitely. Like there's always that's everywhere you go in life, Gary. There's always going to be people that's just going to go that the extra step further. The way I would if they're going to if you want their Glazers out, they're going to just have to have their pockets. Like if they bring out new kids, people we're all just going to have to stand. If you really want them out, you're going to have to stand together and have them wear their pockets out. Do you know what I mean? That didn't really hurt their pockets at all that last week. So the next step is now if they want to keep because you can't just stop now. You can't just go up and do that there and then just leave it now that there. It has to keep the momentum has to keep going. You have to just be right now.
I remember Blackpool doing a summer thing, right? Where they boycotted the games, wouldn't buy any merchandise. I mind this because Arsenal actually played them, and I was watching the AFTV at the time, and they played them in a cup game. And I think they were away to Blackpool or whatever it was. And they Arsenal fans went to the game, but the Blackpool fans said them, don't be buying anything in the stadium. Please don't be buying tea or coffee or beers or anything like that. We're trying to hit the owners, and eventually the owners they got them out, I think. But I just wonder with the size of United if it's possible. If all the loyal United fans surrendered their season tickets, didn't buy merchandise, didn't go to games, is there not a real danger that the tourists would just pick them up and the Glazers would still make their money? Is that where we are in terms of United are just that big? And something and the like same goes with Arsenal that it's very difficult. They boycott stuff because there's other people that's going to take the tickets.
I will like the thing about Old Trafford this year. The whole stadium's more or less season ticket. So, like I know there does be a lot of first school games, but I'd say a good 3/4 of that stadium is filled up with people from Manchester, like and Ireland and places like that. I like if they're going to keep doing it, like it is big enough, but that's the only way tops. No, I can't see that like the tops and all. It's not getting bought like because like you can get them online and all, and it's not just that superstore. You can go on there and buy them. Like you can buy them anywhere. So like if a wee Wayne wants a United top, like our man and dad's going to not buy it to them. I don't know what way they go about it. Like I don't know why the Glazers don't want to sell anyway. Like
I think it's obviously they don't want to sell because United's making money. These clubs are making money. You know,
like Arsenal.
Arsenal have been protesting for a long time. Newcastle have been protesting for a long time. I've not really got in there with it. They get silence from the club. You might get the odd statement here and there, and they'll say that they're fully behind. The club, the manager. We're going to back them. We're going to get 5-year planning. It's just they're basically feeding them shite. And it's upsetting the fans because the fans don't believe them, but they're just saying all the right things and they're doing all the wrong things. And at the end of the day, the owners can. You can unless you literally get them at gunpoint and force them to sign over the club to somebody else, which you can't really do. It's up to the owners themselves when they want to go. And the fact that they're making money, and again, the Glazers are American owned as well. The American owners seem to have the problems. They're using almost like a feeder club. They make the money, they pump money elsewhere. You've seen it with Arsenal. They've got an American football team. Do the Glazers own any American football teams?
They won the Super Bowl. Their team won the Super Bowl.
I guarantee if you go through their books, they're spending all their money in there and they're taking the money out of the club, United. So they're basically funding their passion as American football with the English football over here. And I think as long as they're making money, it's very difficult to stop that. And I think as much as we would love to do it as fans, boycott, not buy anything, it's very difficult because we're fans. And as I said, there's a risk if you just don't do it. I mean, if 100 people do it, you get no chance. You need everyone to buy into it. And it's very difficult for everyone to do it. And then, as you say, there's always a risk of people coming in, tourists, and taking the tickets, and you don't get your season ticket back in. If they want to sign up to it.
The narrative that Graham Souness has put out, what was a bit mad. He says that it's because of where United's are at the minute. They're not winning Champions League and they're not winning Premier League. This has been going on 15 years. This has been going on when Fergie was in charge. Like it isn't just happening last week. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's a nonsense that people think that it's just because United's where we're at the minute. I'm actually, for the first time in years, excited about where we're going. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that they haven't spent money. They have spent money. They spent loads of money, but they don't have football people in making the football decisions. Like it's businessmen like making the decisions. There's no football. Like it's not ran like a football club. Like I know we can slag away Man City all you want, like, but they're ran like a football club. They're not run like a business. They're run like a proper football club.
Like, you ask their fans if they care how much money comes on. They don't care. They don't care. They're going places. They're being funded. The owners are at every game. They're on the executive boxes watching the game. They might not be boyhood fans, but they've become fans since they bought the club.
That's what I'm saying.
And they're being successful. Especially since Pep's come on, they've trophies hanging off every arm. 4 League Cups in a row. They have a good chance now of breaking that Champions League duck. The Premier League's again, another one looks like they're only a game away from another league title. That's what three in the last 4 years. And it's obviously difficult for you as a United fan, but it almost feels like they're in a position where they can dominate English football. You've seen it where Liverpool were so far ahead of United, but under Ferguson, they were United won title after title and overtook them. You almost feel, Man City have a long way to go, but they can start bridging that gap big time over the next 10 years because they just look a formidable force. The owners are all, on the same page, and there's no hassle. The fans love them. And the rest of the clubs aren't in a good place in terms of their fans and the owners. Their relationships are broken. So, Zach, for you, what do you think will happen? Do you think these protests will fall on deaf ears and nothing will be really done?
They will, Gary, because they will fall on deaf ears. But it's just is it going to change? I don't really care who really owns the club. Really, as long as they're benefiting the club and making the club go forward. We can't sit every year and just be happy to at the end of the day, like your man, like that there, boy, I don't even know who it was. Like he was just glory hunting. I'm not saying we have to win the league and all every year, like, but we should definitely be up there challenging. Like, no, uh, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's way frustrating to see how
We've
well
seen it
Man
with
City's run.
Liverpool. We've seen it with Liverpool too. That when they got to the top, the owners didn't really want to back them with more money. They were just happy to sort of, I just see how you go now, and then they've dropped a bit, and they've actually dropped quite a bit now. And you look at their squad; they're going to need a lot of reinforcements. Will John Henry and FSG provide them with the funds? If they don't, you're going to see a similar sort of thing happen, as Gary Neville spoke about on Sunday. That Liverpool fans were in love with FSG up the sort of this season, but the fact they didn't strengthen the window, the fact that they've declined in the league and the sort of Super League, trying to get into that, they actually they furloughed their staff, and Liverpool were totally against that. That if FSG don't do the same, you could see a similar sort of thing with Liverpool joining United and Arsenal and being so against the board.
But that's what the Glazers have done every year. Like, so this year we're in the Champions League, so everything's all good. We'll not get back this summer, but see the years where we weren't in the Champions League, we're in the Europa League. We were given the money that summer to get back in the Champions League. See, as long as we're in the Champions League every year, they do not care. Like this year, I'd say we're 1 or 2 players away from definitely challenging Man City 100%. But are you going to get them through? Like, this is the year now where like we should be putting extra money into them. Like, do you know what I mean? We're only putting money in when we're in the Europa League, so we're only getting. When we were putting the money in, that's only getting us closer to the Champions League. We need to be putting our money now to get us closer to the Premier League. Whether it's going to happen or not, I don't know. But it's just way frustrating when Man City ran like a proper football club, like, and they don't have the fan base that we have. Like, we can generate money, like the money we generate's phenomenal.
Yeah, incredible. Super club, like, United are a super power. Up there with Liverpool, Real Madrid, the Barcelona's. They're a money making machine, like global as well. And that's the danger. If Man City become big and start winning titles, that could flip. That young people in Manchester growing up start supporting Man City instead of Man United, and that's the real risk. We're seeing it around London at the moment. Arsenal, a massive club, but because they've been falling short in the league, and when they were winning the Invincibles, everybody wanted to support them. Robbie from AFTV spoke about it. Did he see more Spurs shirts in London? He's seeing more Chelsea shirts in London, and that's the risk United fans have. That they've got a real rival in Manchester City now that they have to compete with locally as well. Zach, before we sort of move on, there's been a lot of talk this week from pundits again. Sky broadcasters getting involved. Where are you at with them? Do you think that they're very hypocritical? You're obviously a big fan of Gary Neville, I can imagine, but do you almost feel that he lit the fire for this kind of protest? That yes, we can protest as fans and we're all entitled to it, but the scale it went to, that he might have been, encouraging people. He didn't actually say the words because he's obviously going to be careful what he says, but that he was almost sort of telling people to go and do it.
Well, like, I agree with like Gary Neville. Like, I don't really have any problems with what he says. I thought Jamie Carragher spoke very well, but what I don't agree with is you have the likes of Sky News like Sky Sports News and all, the way they're promoting like Fuggery, all that there, and then you look at it. A few weeks ago, they were the ones wanting Manchester United and wanting the fans on board because they were wrecking football. But now that like a match was stopped there, they've sort of backtracked. Then they're slagging the United fans. Are saying like this ain't done, this ain't acceptable and all. But when they needed us on side because they didn't know if they were going to get the TV rights to the European Super League, that's why they were panicking. Sky and all. So like the way they're broadcasting it, very hypocritical. But like for Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, I think they're the only two really that I think that have really came out and spoke very well. Like, to be honest.
Yeah. Dean's just saying here, Liverpool's in a summer sort of place. If they don't back Klopp this summer, I'm sure there's going to be fans in Liverpool turning against them. There is a few of them out, but you get summer sort of thing where there's a real revolt against the owners. As you said, I do think there were some hypocritical things said, especially by Sky. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I do watch it because I almost feel if I don't watch it, I'll miss out. And if it's all over Twitter and stuff, so you sort of have to watch. But I do be sitting watching, thinking that some of the things that are being said or how they get away with it. TalkSport and Sky are highly involved, and I mind them. They brought Robbie from AFTV on last week. They interviewed him, and Ray Porter started saying to him, "You must love it when the club lose because you'll get views." But they only brought him on there so people would watch it and get views. So again, it was very hypocritical in what they were saying, that if they don't like Robbie, why bring him on? But they brought him on because there was going to be a debate, there was going to be a bit of fire, and they knew it was going to get them views. So again, they were basically saying the same sort of thing. They were accusing Robbie of one thing, and they were doing the exact same thing. And I think that's the problem Sky have, as you see with UEFA as well this week, when everybody thought that their money was going to be taken out of the Super League, they all jumped on board. Sky weren't thinking about the fans when they were trying to charge $14.85 a game. They didn't give a fuck about the fans, let's be honest. The Premier League don't care about the fans when they organise Monday night games. If Man United have to travel to London, they play an Arsenal or a Chelsea or a Spurs on a Monday night. They don't care about the fans that they're getting out of work early. Maybe they travel down. They have to work the next morning again. They don't care. Why do it they do it because of TV money. We've talked about it before. Klopp spoke about it a few times, and our managers over the years about 12:30 kickoffs on a Saturday. Again, it's all for TV and all for money. And there's not a lot of thought put into it for fans.
No, the fans are always going to be the last one. The fans are always going to be the last sort of people they think about at the end of the day. But then, if you would never see it happening. But could you put your just football? What is it like? Do you know that is the biggest point? And I think everybody in agreement.
Do you think
what
that
is football with fans? It is absolutely nothing.
Do you think in the last few weeks has really put a sour taste for fans? They're seeing more and more we're seeing more and more owners come under pressure and get that, but you're seeing a lot more talk about politics than football. I think it's affecting the players. The standard, I know it's towards the end of the season too, and we do have to take that on. The players might be tired, but all this talk around games, we're talking more about Super Leagues and owners than we are about the actual players in the game. We're talking more about referees and VAR. The players are becoming, almost secondary to every game. Fans are becoming secondary. You don't think there's a real danger that some fans might turn away and say, what, I've had enough. I'd rather just go to the Brandywell and watch a game. I spoke about it before, and I love my coaching, but I could not wait to get up to Belfast on Saturday if they play Glentoran, because I almost felt like, geez, football, it's all about the football that day. I don't have to worry about anything else. Whereas the minute you turn on that game on Saturday and everyone's talking about our things are in the actual match.
I know that's right. 100%. I don't see why people don't why more people from locally anyway don't support their shit. I wouldn't have been at the Brandywell every week when I was in Derry, but I would have been there and there. But I think more people should support their local team. I still want to see football. I still want to watch football. At the end of the day,
yeah,
that's I think killed. I can understand the protest and all, but they stop a game. I don't want the game stopped. I want to watch Man United Liverpool every day of the week. I was absolutely snapping when that didn't happen. I was raging. I wanted that to happen. I wanted to watch that match. But I don't know. I'd rather be talking about football, as you say, Gary, than talking about a European Super League or talking about the Glazers. Because to me, I don't really care. To be honest,
100%. And I'm the same. And I was going to say that our question: do you think that it's affecting the games? The standards seems. I know it's towards the end of the season, but there's still a lot to play for teams. And do you think that some of the games haven't been as enjoyable? Maybe it's just me because I've got a bit of a sour taste, but I haven't been enjoying the matches over the last couple of weeks as much. I know United have had a few good results, but even if you look at that Leeds Man United game, there looked to be a lack of passion on it from both teams. Leeds over the last few weeks, the Leeds Liverpool game was a 0-0. Them games before were great to watch. I think that some of the players are really sick and tired of all these protests as well, and they're sick and tired of hearing about Super Leagues and owners and stuff.
See, to be honest, guy, I don't know what, you may think it's that their way, and it could be that way, right enough, but I just think, I love football, I love football, but I'm a football fan first, I used to love waiting every Saturday, but see, this year, it has took it out of me a bit, because, I'm going to people's houses sometimes, and I'm going up there just to sit and chill and chat outside, and it's just, there's always a football match on now, every night of the week there's a football match on, so I don't know whether it's just too much football. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Too much of anything. Too much of anything can be bad for you.
That's what I'm saying. I was when I heard all these matches live and all, I was all happy days. Just football all the time. But then it has got this stage now. I'm geez, I can't wait now just for the Euros now and a break. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Danny here.
A break. That's it.
Danny's using any excuse to get Ollie here. A very big United fan, but he has never liked Ollie. But he's saying that Ollie should have done more to stop the protests. Ollie out. For me, Danny, again, if your boss has done something really bad in work, you're not going to tell him. You're not going to start saying stuff about him, because at the end of the day, if he finds out, you're going to be on bother. If Solskjaer comes out and speaks against the Glazers, at the end of the season, he's going to get the chop, because at the end of the day, he can't be undermining the owners. You've seen it with Arteta. What they say and what they actually think are two different things. I don't read too much, and I've very rarely come across a manager that speaks out about people hiring the club on him. Very
They weren't
rarely. I can't even think.
But they weren't letting them out too. The players and the players and the manager wanted to go out on Sunday. They wanted
Yeah.
to come out. Like that's what James Cooper was saying. I think anyway, no Sky Sports pundit for United,
Yeah.
or correspondent. He was saying that the players and Solskjaer wanted to come out and see if they could have a word with the fans. Like, do you know what I mean? Because that's probably what the fans want. They just want a communication with a club. Like,
Yeah, I know there was a social media blackout at the weekend, but even as the weeks come on again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's little, if anything, coming PR wise from these clubs. United and Spurs, Arsenal. I think a lot of clubs are and all these owners involved in the Super League are not tweeting as much as they would have been because they know there's a backlash at the moment from the fans. The fans aren't happy. Almost the silence is deafening. And I think everyone just wants, even fans as well, that they just want the season over and done with now and let it rest over the summer. The Euros will come around and you might see a bit more enjoyable. Everyone will sort of look at the Euros as a way of an escape. International teams, let's just go and watch a bit of football. And then when the Premier League comes back, we'll be hoping that all this talk's behind us. I've seen the Premier League have introduced new things now that it's going to restrict any potential Super League again. There'll be, I think there's going to be breaches on there and stuff. Clubs could be really hit hard if they were to try and do anything like this again. Last thing on it, Zach, the Super League. Do you think there's going to be over the next few years another attempt to do something like this, or do you think that the backlash it got, the owners now they won't try it again because why would it be any different in a few years' time?
No, they won't try it again, Gary. No, that I can't. Well, I can't see it like from my own personal standpoint. I just can't see it happening. Why would they try it again? Like they're just going to get that there again.
Yeah.
It's just but I'd say they won't be hit financially. Like I'd say all the big clubs will be hit financially. And as Mark Goldberg says, like he says, I wouldn't care if the Blazers left and we ended up in starting League 2 again just to get our club back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's where a lot of teams are at the moment. They just want to be watching their team and they just don't want to be hearing about all this stuff. And we are going to move on about that because we have talked about it for quite a bit. But you obviously have a big game Thursday. Well, not really. That's a big game semi-final wise, but 4 goals to the good. It really should be a formality. You'll probably be watching the Arsenal Villarreal game. Be more of an interest in thinking who we're going to play against. But Evan's just saying Chelsea 2-0. We'll chat about that, Evan, as well in a minute. But United Roma should be a formality. The sense that this is the real chance for Ollie to put the when it comes on a football point of view, he can really silence the critics here. Whoever they play in the final, they'll be favourites. Who would you rather play in the final?
Villarreal.
You'd rather play Villarreal, yeah. You've done some slagging. You've been slagging Arsenal fans all season too. You'll be hoping this doesn't come back to bite you.
No, I want Villarreal. Like I can't express how much I want Villarreal because on their day Arsenal could beat us. Like, and I just don't see. And them are Spanish teams this year. Like we had played Sociedad, we played Granada. We just like I was chatting to Kevin, no talk like about he was saying Villarreal some side, and I says they must and he was giving me stick about us playing Sociedad and Granada. I says they must have been much better than them. And then Sociedad's ahead of
Villarreal. I seen some of the game last week. If Villarreal were anyway decent, they'd put Arsenal aside because Arsenal were terrible. I half sort of think that Arsenal got out of jail and not favourites tonight, or favourites tomorrow night, but they've a really good chance of turning that around. Who do you think will be in the final?
It will be United Arsenal.
You think United Arsenal, and if it is that, I'm going to get you and Doc on for that. A few days, couple days before that. So that'll be a crack. But
we want Van der Beek. They start on Thursday. If he can't start on Thursday night, 6-2 up, I won't be happy. Like I'm all in. Like, but I just want to see Van der Beek starting on Thursday. Please, Van der Beek starting Thursday night. My God.
Let's see for next season. Obviously, we can't sort of know how the season's going to finish, if they're going to win a trophy or not. It won't be sacked regardless because they've finished second and they've had a good season. Do you think the gap to Man City is still significant, that they need to go on back Ollie big time, that they need at least maybe 2-3 top class players? Not go and sign just 2-3 players here. You need to go and sign a proper 2 or 3 starters, almost like a starting centre forward, a starting midfielder, and our centre half they play with Maguire.
No, but David, needs to get 2 or 3 players now in the summer. I think we could definitely chance because been that much, like I know it's bad to shine like they're in the Champions League final and they're 10 points ahead, isn't it? But I don't think they've been that much better than us this year. I look at so many games, guys, this year that we've just completely threw it away. I just think with 2 or 3 seconds, and we've bit Man City too. They had like in the league, like so. I don't think Man City is, and it's not to say it's a one-off bit Man City in the league. We've dominated them in the league the last 2 years. No, like head to head, like obviously not in league positions, but definitely 2 or 3 signings away from winning it.
The one thing I would say is if Man City were going to sign a top striker, it's going to make the gap even bigger because they've basically went the whole season with a striker, and that's what's most impressive about their run. They seem to be able to play any type of formation, and 9 times out of 10 they get results. And United have a very poor start to the season, but so did Man City. Man City made up a lot of points. Both teams sort of turned the corner after them first few games, and it would have been interesting had United started a bit better. There's obviously talk this week. I seen it today about Harry Kane to United. We're talking about 100 million. Would you want to go? Would you want to see Kane in a United shirt next year? Would you pay that kind of money for him?
No, definitely not.
You wouldn't?
No, not a maybe 100 million. Geez, I don't know. Maybe taking for people are chatting 150 million. No, like definitely wouldn't pay that for him. Not a hope. I don't like. I think he has an injury on him, and then I don't know. Like we always seem to get these big signings, and then they don't work. Like so, no.
Do you not sort of feel that his record in the Premier League speaks for itself, though? Even if it did cost 150 million, you're getting a 30-goal season striker, like.
No, I still wouldn't want him, Gary. No. That's my own view. Like I would rather go Haaland. Like he's younger. I know he has improved in the Premier League, but he's younger. And even if he doesn't work out in 1 or 2 years, you can get half that money back. Like, I would rather go for Haaland for the youth. And Kane is very, very, very injury prone. Like, but no, I wouldn't complain. Don't get me wrong if we get Harry Kane, but no, I wouldn't. It wouldn't be my first. I think I don't like even all together. Not even Haaland. I don't want to put all our eggs in the one basket and go for a centre forward because I think the problems lie deeper in just a centre forward.
Yeah. And obviously, Man City won last night. They're in the final. They'll play over Chelsea or Real Madrid. We'll chat about it in a minute. But do you think that'll be significant if Man City were to go on and win that? That it's a big thing that they've won the Champions League, and obviously it's more global than when you won the European Cup, everyone's talking about you as champions of Europe. Do you think that even puts them on the map even bigger than where they are now at the moment?
But see, to be honest, like if it's Real Madrid goes through tonight, Man City, 100% Man City will beat them in the final. But if it was Chelsea, it'd be see an English match, anything can happen. But I just know
Chelsea beat them in the semi-final last week, and they actually played each other again this weekend. So they're going to have a lot of homework on each other. What do you think will happen tonight? Chelsea, Madrid. Who do you fancy to go through? It's 1 each at the moment.
Chelsea.
I think Chelsea will go through too. 2-0. I think that might be closer. I think it might be a 1-0. Chelsea don't tend to score a lot of goals. But they create a lot of chances. I just don't think Madrid will be able to stop them. They've got so much youth and they're in such good form. And if it was, I think Madrid, as you say, or Man City, I want Madrid in the final. I think if it's Chelsea, it's 50-50 game. Chelsea have a very strong squad, and that's going to be interesting next year. I think United are not just competing with City; they're competing with Chelsea as well. And I think that makes the likes of Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, and all these other teams, they have a lot of work to do in the summer for me to play catch up. And already I think you're chasing 3 teams. So again, and it doesn't work out like this, but I always feel like you've only got one spot for the top 4 again next year. So Zach, moving on to sort of the weekend's outlook. You think how do you see this European race for the top 4? Before we go, it looks like Leicester sort of missed a big opportunity. They completely secure their spot against Southampton. They've got them 3 difficult games after Newcastle at the weekend. I think it's United, Chelsea, and Spurs. Chelsea have a tough running. They've Man City, Arsenal, Leicester, and the league as well as the cup final. And they've got Villa, so they've got all that, possibly a Champions League final and an FA Cup final in there. Do you think that might give the other teams hope that they might take their eye off the ball a bit? And then do you think that West Ham still have an opportunity, being 3 points behind with favourable fixtures, or do you even think Spurs or Liverpool have an outside chance if they can win all their games?
I think Spurs. I think Spurs have an outside chance. I don't think Liverpool have an outside chance because they stop the playoffs and they just can't see him as beating us. I just don't think Liverpool. I don't think Liverpool's getting it, guys. To be fair, Spurs are too far gone. Do you think? I think it's between
Who would have thought
Chelsea.
that? Who would have thought that at the start of the season? Who would have thought that at the start of the season? Liverpool now making the top four. Can't think of anybody would have said that. To be fair to you, when you said that, everyone was absolutely hammering you and saying this man has no clue what he's talking about. And you also said that United would be in the title race, and you haven't been on it completely, but you have been the next best, the Man City. So, what's your? I'm going to give you a chance now. What's your predictions for the next sort of how the season's going to finish? Champions League winners, Europa League winners, and top. Who's going to finish in third and fourth?
I'm just having a wee look at the league and I'll let you know it. Just to see what's happening now, to see what way it's spicing up here. Let's see, Premier League. There we go. Standings. I think right. So I think the way it's sitting now at the minute, first, second, third, fourth. That's the way it's happening. Man City first, Man United second, Leicester third, Chelsea fourth. I think West Ham and Liverpool, get the fifth and sixth, and usually seventh. So that's the conference. Europa. Is that? I heard my friends.
They as well put them games on the Friday night because I'm going to go to the Brandywell and watch them. It's going to be on a Thursday night, but
I heard that they were doing that. Like, I thought that was like, do you know the way it says Europa Conference League? I thought that was you had to qualify to get into Europa League. That's a separate thing altogether.
It's you know what I'll tell you, it's more teams. It's more teams from leagues that don't usually feature. So I was like, and they've got more spots for like Azerbaijan teams and stuff. You just be playing. More Irish league teams and stuff. And hey, I'm not trying to disrespect these clubs, but you don't want to be playing them types of matches. Like the difference, And I was saying the one thing that this is going to do for UEFA is it's going to glorify the Europa League. The Europa League is going to become a much more appealing competition for teams. Liverpool, Spurs at the moment, they all want to finish top six. Whereas before, if they didn't finish fourth, they were like, just finish seventh or eighth, and we'll not be on it because it will give us a better chance. But everyone wants to be in it. It's nearly that hard now to avoid. You have to finish eighth or below, to avoid getting into one of these competitions. So it makes it difficult. Everton are dropping away. Villa have dropped away. It's a nailed-on certainty. It's probably going to be West Ham, Spurs, and Liverpool. It depends on what order. But I would say that one of them teams is going to be and it's looking more like Liverpool or Spurs. So I'm sort of hoping United can beat Liverpool. We can just win all our games, and that means we definitely can finish below them.
It'd be so funny to see Liverpool not there, the third League team.
Somebody said to me before, they would just play their under 23 team out. They wouldn't even take it seriously. Whether they would do it or not, it's another thing. But nobody wants to be associated with. So you think that'll be the top four? Who do you think for the Champions League and Europa League again?
Man City and Man United, two Manchester clubs.
Two Manchester clubs, and already won his first trophy. Zach, thanks very much for coming on. Really enjoyed the chat. He's probably feeling like a long weekend for you. You're back on the road now. It's Wednesday. And he's not long to go again before an hour back weekend.
Hopefully, anyway. It's my birthday the weekend, so.
Oh, happy days, CB. Hopefully, you should be celebrating United in the Europa League final.
I know why. Hopefully, anyway. Yeah, definitely.
Hey, top man, thanks very much, and I'm sure I'll get you on because I think he's definitely been in the Europa League final. And if it is Arsenal, we'll get talk on as well. I think that'll be like the last week, one of the last podcasts before we stop. So thanks very much for everyone that's watched. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and I'll see you on Friday. Thanks very much now.